There is a primal and eternal law of this earth. Every movement, no matter how chaotic or hurried, will eventually find its way back to absolute stillness. Just like the golden grains of sand upon the boundless desert. After a long day of swirling in the vortex of mighty winds, they lean against one another as twilight falls, peaceful and serene beneath the sky. Our lives are no different. The worries, the noisy clamor of the world outside, are ultimately just a part of the journey. The most important thing after a long day is not how far we have walked, but how we know how to stop, allowing our minds to rest, and returning our bodies to their most pure, gentle state. Let this very moment be a sacred pause. A sanctuary where you do not need to strive, you do not need to prove anything, but simply exist within the gentle embrace of the night. Before we embark together on this journey to find deep peace within our souls through the story of a distant desert land, please take a brief moment to connect with the space around you. If you find that this video brings you a sense of comfort, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on the notification bell. Your silent companionship is the immense motivation that helps me continue weaving these wonderful spaces of relaxation in the nights to come. Now, close the doors to the outside world and let yourself sink completely into this profound tranquility. Begin by finding a truly comfortable position on your familiar bed. You may lie on your back, arms resting loosely by your sides, with your palms turned upward to receive the stillness. Or lie on your side, if that position makes you feel most secure and at ease. Adjust your pillow, pull the soft blanket up to your chest, and let its gentle warmth begin to envelope your body. Ensure that the surrounding space is dark enough and that all electronic devices have been set to silent. This time belongs entirely to you. A completely safe space where no pressures or deadlines can ever reach you. Now, slowly close your eyes. Do not force yourself to fall asleep immediately. Instead, simply focus your attention on your own breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling the cool air slowly filling your lungs, causing your chest and abdomen to rise gently. Hold that breath for a brief moment as a way to cherish this fresh energy. Then, very slowly, gently breathe out through your mouth or nose, releasing all the warm air outside. Along with that exhaled breath, imagine all the tension, fatigue, and fragmented thoughts of today drifting away with it, dissolving into the endless void. Let us repeat this process once more. Inhale deeply, softly, and slowly. Feel the crisp coolness of the air trickling through every cell, and then exhale completely, so softly, so smoothly. With each breath out, your body becomes a little lighter, like a dry leaf gently landing upon a perfectly still lake. You do not need to control your breath forcefully. Let it happen as naturally as possible, following the biological rhythm of your body, gentle, steady, and filled with relaxation. Bring your attention to your forehead. If you are unconsciously frowning, soften the muscles around your brow. Let the space between your eyebrows widen, becoming as smooth as a lake without a single ripple. Continue to move your awareness down to your eyes. Allow the muscles around your eyes to rest completely. Your eyes now seem to grow heavy in a pleasant way. Your eyelids closing softly, shielding the eyes within to unwind after many long hours of work. Your cheeks and your jaw are also softening. You can slightly part your lips so that no tension remains around your mouth. Your entire face now radiates a strange sense of peace and serenity. Now, let this wave of relaxation spread down to your neck and your shoulders. The shoulders are where we often carry the heaviest burdens of a long day. Become aware of this and allow your shoulders to drop, sinking deeper into the support of your mattress. Feel the fatigue melting away and drifting off. That warm wave continues to flow down your arms, through your elbows, your wrists, and overflows into your 10 fingertips. You might feel a gentle warmth or a pleasant, subtle tingling at the tips of your fingers. It is a sign that your body is entering a state of deep rest. Direct your attention further down to your back and your spine. Feel your entire back being perfectly supported by the sturdy bed beneath you. Each vertebra from your neck down to your lower back is gradually elongating, releasing all pent-up pressure. Your abdomen is moving rhythmically with each breath, falling and rising softly. Let all the internal organs within also be soothed by the flow of this stillness. Finally, let this relaxation cascade down to your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, and rest at your feet. Your legs and feet, which have carried you through so many paths today, are now completely released from all duties. They become heavy, warm, and motionless. From the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, not a single muscle is straining. No tension remains. You are enveloped in a cocoon of energy that is incredibly safe, warm, and comforting. At this moment, your mind is like a vast night sky, empty, quiet, and peaceful. The sounds from the outside world, if they happen to reach your ears, are just like a passing breeze, unable to disturb the stillness within. You feel completely relaxed, completely secure. You are ready to let go of reality and allow your mind to be guided into another space. A space filled with golden sand, cool breezes, and the primal peace of a traditional desert home. Continue to maintain this soothing breathing rhythm and prepare to step into the journey of the mind. As your body sinks fully into the plush embrace of your bed, allow your mind to open an invisible door, guiding you away from the cluttered daily life to step into a completely different world. It is the land of the ancient Cholistan desert, a place where time seems no longer measured by the ticking of a clock, but by the slow movement of light and the rhythmic breath of the earth and sky. Imagine yourself standing atop a soaring sand dune at the very moment the day is about to end. Now, the intense, blinding heat of midday has entirely receded, giving way to an atmosphere that is beautifully soft and unusually gentle. The sky above is no longer a stark blue, but is slowly transforming into magnificent, ethereal hues. On the distant horizon, where the earth meets the sky, the sun, radiant like a massive crimson gem, is slowly, bit by bit, sinking behind the winding curves of the sand dunes. The final twilight of the day cascades down, painting the vast expanse in shades of pink, reflecting off the fine grains of sand, turning the endless sea of desert into a ribbon of shimmering golden silk, glittering with the last warm embers of light. A cool breeze begins to blow from afar. The late afternoon desert wind is not scorching at all. On the contrary, it carries the refreshing, liberating breath of wide open spaces. As that breeze brushes past, it softly caresses your skin, carrying away any lingering heat and leaving behind a deeply comforting, cool sensation. You can hear a very faint, smooth sound of fine sand moving and shifting along the slopes, creating a rustling murmur like the whisper of Mother Earth cradling her children. In the distance, amidst that immense openness, the silhouette of a traditional Gopa hut appears. This is the unique architecture of the nomadic Rohila people, a symbol of absolute adaptation and harmony with the wild nature. The hut is shaped round like a giant mushroom rising from the heart of the sand, with its conical roof thatched meticulously with dried grass and straw, sloping downward to catch the cool winds. The walls of the hut are molded from a thick layer of mud mixed with straw, creating a perfect shield. During the day, these thick walls block the scorching heat outside from seeping in, and when night falls, they cleverly trap the cool air of the desert darkness, keeping the interior space constantly pleasant and surprisingly cool. As you step closer to the hut, the fragrance of a simple family life begins to drift through the air. It is the scent of sun-baked terracotta, the light aroma of dried grass on the roof, and a faint hint of the cool, rich scent of fresh milk and butter carried from within. Around the hut, old kikar trees with sparse foliage sway gently in the evening breeze, the rustling of their leaves creating a steady background melody, deepening the sense of quietude and safety of this haven. The vast Cholistan desert outside may hold the harshness of weather, but right here, in this little corner, beneath this traditional nomadic roof, everything radiates shelter and absolute peace for any soul seeking refuge. You stand there between the crossing of day and night, feeling your feet touch the soft, cool sand beneath. Every boundary of anxiety, every pressure of work seems to have been left behind in a world far away. Before your eyes now, there is only the gentle gold of the sand, the warm pink of the twilight, and the tranquil quiet of a home waiting to welcome you. Let this space completely saturate your every sense, leaving your mind emptier, lighter, and ready to listen to the story of the people who live by sincerity and kindness amidst the boundless desert. As the night begins to drape its deep velvet curtain over the sprawling expanse of the Cholistan desert, the small Gopa hut of Bashir's family glows with a warm, golden firelight, like a resilient and nurturing spark amidst the endless sea of sand. Inside the hut, the air is remarkably cool, as if the thick mud walls have locked in the crisp chill of the desert night, creating a peaceful oasis completely detached from the arid world outside. Zoya is sitting cross-legged on an old but exquisitely woven tapestry, its vibrant, symmetrical patterns telling stories of their own. Before her rests a large clay pot, its surface darkened by time and polished smooth from years of use. Her hands, though calloused and lined with the deep cracks of the desert sun and wind, now move with an incredibly graceful, rhythmic motion. They sway to the cadence of the mathani, the grooved wooden churn spinning steadily inside the dahi yogurt that had been carefully cultured since the previous night. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sound of the grooved wooden paddle spinning evenly within the clay pot creates a steady, low, and continuous melody. It is the nameless instrument of the mothers of Rohila, a sound that has nurtured generations of nomads growing up from the hot sands. Bashir, with his silver-streaked hair and hands roughened by a lifetime of weathered elements, sits beside his wife. Silently and meticulously, he helps her strain the last layers of cream through a clean, white cheesecloth. He no longer has the time or the strength to play the twin algoza flute like in his youth, when he was a romantic young man, piping songs that called the wind across the dunes. But at this moment, his eyes still light up with a primal joy, a deep satisfaction, as he watches the golden makan, the rich, fragrant, thick clumps of butter, separate perfectly from the buttermilk. "This batch is beautiful, my dear," Bashir said, his voice raspy from years of heat and dust, yet overflowing with warmth. This afternoon, the merchants from the town near the Darawar fort sent word. They ordered 10 more kilograms of butter and a few dozen bags of lassi for the weekend market. They said no one around here makes butter as clean and flavorful as we do. Zoya smiled gently, beads of sweat glistening on her broad forehead. Her face, though etched with the crow's feet of the desert sun, still radiated the tenderness of a woman who had spent her entire life nurturing and keeping the fire of this home. Their cleanliness and meticulous care had long since become an unspoken brand amidst this dry and unforgiving desert. In a place where water and pastures are as rare as gold, people did not just seek out their family for good milk or rich butter. Above all, they came because of an absolute trust in people who did their work with their whole heart and self-respect. The merchants willingly traded sacks of grain, salt, tea, and new rolls of fabric for their golden jars of butter and cool bags of yogurt. Thanks to that unshakable reputation, even though they lived in the heart of a boundless desert, isolated from luxurious cities, their family never lacked the warmth of a full meal or the respect of their neighbors. Tomorrow was the big market day, and the orders from the Darawar merchants made the atmosphere inside the Gopa hut busy in a quiet way. The pots of dahi yogurt exhaled a mild, tangy aroma mixed with the scent of damp earth, softening the natural dryness of the land. Zoya gathered her strength for the hardest part of the process, separating the fat to gather the makan. She pushed the mathani deep into the pot, beginning to spin the rope wrapped around the wooden axle. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At first, the spinning rhythm was light and smooth, while the milk was still liquid. But as time went on, as the cream began to thicken, clump, and separate from the liquid lassi, the mathani grew heavy, as if stone weights were pulling at the bottom of the pot. The blue veins on the back of her hands stood out clearly, tightening with each decisive turn. Sweat poured down heavier, tracing lines on her sun-ripened cheeks, soaking the collar of her vibrant Gagra's dress. A dull ache began to spread from her wrists, traveling up her shoulders and tightening at the vertebrae of her lower back. Each spin now felt heavy and exhausting, requiring her to throw her entire body weight, from shoulders to hips, into her hands, just to keep the wooden paddle from seizing up. She closed her eyes, her rapid breath blending into the steady, unyielding rhythm of the churn. There were moments when the fatigue reached its peak, making her shoulders tremble as if to give up. But in her mind, the image of the golden butter appeared. The thought of the joy of those who would receive a cup of cool lassi in the burning sun, the pristine reputation her family had preserved for generations, infused her with renewed strength. Bashir sat silently by her side, his rough hands helping his wife hold the clay pot firmly in place on the dirt floor. Every now and then, he would lean down, skillfully skimming the separated butter clots and carefully straining them through the cloth. They moved together with a fluid, seamless harmony, attuned to each other's smallest movements, like a quiet dance practiced for decades. No extravagant words were needed between them. Only the silent understanding and shared burden between two souls who had walked together through countless seasons of wind and sand. "Take a rest. Let me spin for a while," Bashir said softly, his hands gently taking the rope, assuming control of the mathani from his wife. Zoya leaned her back against the cool mud wall of the hut, her shoulders still trembling slightly from exhaustion. Her face clearly showed her fatigue, but a contented smile remained on her lips as she watched the golden makan accumulate in the wooden bowl. Just then, the coarse cloth curtain shielding the door was pulled back. A gust of cool night air swept in, and Zain stepped into the warm sanctuary of his family. Zain entered the hut, his pagri turban covered in a fine layer of red desert dust. He slowly shed his heavy shalwar kameez, soaked with sweat and sand from a long day of herding livestock under the blistering sun. Today had indeed been a very long and challenging day for him. "I am home," Zain said, his deep, warm voice echoing, his hands still carrying a trace of moisture and the distinct scent of the earth. The camels drank their fill today at the distant Toba well, the water was deep down, and I had to use the wooden pulley system to haul up each heavy bucket. The camels just stood in line watching me, their large eyes gentle and patient as they waited. After they all drank, I filled the goatskin bags hanging on both sides of the lead camel to bring water back for our home and for making the milk. He sat down on the ground beside his parents, his sturdy shoulders slumping slightly from the exhaustion of hours of grueling labor. Herding camels in the desert was never an easy journey. It was not merely about guiding them to grass, but a persistent, resilient battle against the harsh scarcity of water. In this region of Cholistan, water is the very bloodline of existence, a treasure that Mother Earth hides deep within her womb. Every drop of water he brought back from the deep well was not just for drinking, but part of a careful, thrifty management by the whole family, used to wash the clay pots spotlessly clean, used for cooking, and sometimes sprinkled around the hut to cool the living space when the outside temperature soared. "You have worked hard, son. Have a cup of buttermilk to restore your strength," Zoya said lovingly, handing him a bowl of freshly made, cool lassi. Zain accepted it with both hands. The gentle, clean tartness, mixed with the rich creaminess of the local yogurt, instantly soothed the dry burning in his throat. He watched his parents meticulously wrapping each portion of golden butter in clean, dried banana leaves, and suddenly a wave of contemplation arose in his heart about the future, about the vision of a partner who would share this life with him. "Father? Mother?" Zain hesitated, his voice softening, falling slowly into the quiet and sacred space of the hut. "Is it possible that, in the isolation and wilderness of this desert, I might find a girl who wants to pull the water pulley with me each morning and sit to separate butter and make milk with me each afternoon? I am afraid that the hardship of this traditional trade will make people turn away in hesitation." Bashir paused his work. He placed his rough, warm hand on his son's sturdy shoulder. The warmth from the father's hand seemed to transmit an invisible yet solid spiritual strength. "Zain, look around you. This desert, no matter how harsh and arid, always has its own way of preserving and nurturing the most precious things. The merchants and people from all over travel all the way here, not just to buy our family's butter and milk. What they are buying is our kindness, our heart. They see the pristine cleanliness in every bag of yogurt your mother makes. They see the persistence and responsibility in your every step with the herd. That is the magnetic pull of people who live truthfully. Happiness in this world is not about finding an easy place to enjoy life, but about finding someone who appreciates and understands the drops of butter born from sincerity and hard labor." Zain listened in silence to his father's words, his heart shifting a beat to feel them more deeply. He remembered the scorching middays when the sun stood high and the temperature soared to 50 degrees Celsius, when everything seemed to wither. Yet, he had patiently, resiliently guided the camels for miles to find the small shade of a kikar tree. He remembered the moments of scooping the golden butter with his bare hands from the clay pot, the cool and rich sensation on his fingertips, making him instantly forget all physical weariness. He realized that the hardship he faced every day was not a misfortune, but a precious refinement. It made him the man he was today, a strong, resilient Rohila youth with a will as solid as stone and a heart rich with love. Outside, the night sky of the Cholistan desert had completely donned its mysterious velvet coat, studded with millions of stars shining like natural diamonds. The colossal sand dunes lay motionless, as if holding their breath to listen to the peaceful respiration of humanity. The family gathered around the warm embers of the hearth, the small flame dancing playfully in the dark, releasing the aroma of warm roti bread baking to a golden crisp over the fragrant firewood. Together, they tore pieces of the warm bread, dipping them into the fresh makan butter. The rich, savory flavor melted instantly on the tongue, blending perfectly with a sip of deep, sweet milk tea, bringing a sense of ultimate comfort and satisfaction. "Mother," Zain said as he ate, "tomorrow, after delivering the butter to the merchants at the fort, I will bring a few extra bags of yogurt and lassi to the elderly man's family in the next village. I heard they need food to prepare for the upcoming festival, but their livestock yielded very little milk this year." "Of course, my son," Zoya smiled gently, her eyes sparkling with pride under the hearth fire. "Take it, son. That is the mutual help and protection of the children of the desert. They will also repay or help you back with things our home needs. In this land, we may not be wealthy in terms of money or material goods, but we are always rich in human warmth, rich in the sincere connection between souls." Zain closed his eyes, inhaling deeply the familiar scent of home. He felt entirely light, filled with peace. The exhaustion of herding livestock all day and the hardship of waking up early and sleeping late for the handmade butter trade suddenly became incredibly small, completely vanishing before the warmth and peace of family bonds. He knew that tomorrow, when the first light of the sun dawned on the horizon, he would again set out with the camels to find water, again using these hands to pull cool streams from deep within the Mother Earth. And to him, that was a fulfilling and truly worthwhile life. In the rustling of the night wind, whispering through the old kikar trees outside the door, the warm Gopa hut, like a protective cocoon, slowly sank into a deep sleep. In his drowsy dreams, Zain saw that he was no longer alone on the back of a camel, amidst the vast sea of sand. He saw a silhouette appearing behind the golden sand dunes, shimmering under the dawn light. The girl turned to look at him with a gentle smile, and her skillful hands were also spinning rhythmically and steadily beside the clay pot with the wooden mathani. It was a truly beautiful dream, a dream that carried the full, rich flavor of fresh butter blended with the sun and the free wind of his desert home. The night rolled on toward the morning. The Cholistan desert remained vast, quiet, and nurturing, just as it had been for thousands of years. The starlight fell upon the fine sand, illuminating the path of the shepherds and camel herders. The silent people who weave the endless ballad of survival and happiness with boundless patience and the most pure, primal love for this land. Literary and humanistic reflections on the story of Zain's family, their labor, and their preservation of the home, is a gentle yet powerful reminder of the value of inner stillness. In a modern world that constantly spins with haste, rivalry, and superficial material values, the simple life of the nomads of Cholistan stands as a deep, resonant chord, guiding us back to the core lessons of life. Patience is the key to true happiness. Just as the process of making traditional butter, makan, requires a woman to be patient and resilient. Through every steady spin of the churn despite aching shoulders, all lasting and meaningful achievements in this life require time to accumulate and crystallize. Haste may bring quick, immediate results, but only patience and enduring through hardships can create the richest, most authentic flavor of self-sustaining happiness. The immutable value of sincerity and kindness and dedication in the smallest acts of labor. From cleaning the clay pots and churning the yogurt to patiently herding and caring for the camels are the invisible yet unbreakable threads that bind human beings together. A person's reputation and honor are never built upon extravagant, hollow words. They are nurtured by the very sincerity reflected in every small act of kindness each day. Living in harmony with and appreciating nature, no matter how harsh or barren the living conditions may be, learning to accept, love, and live according to the rhythm of the earth and sky allows humans to find true peace within their souls. Happiness is not about trying to change or forcing the surrounding environment to bend to one's will. It is about changing one's own perspective and attitude toward that environment to live with greater grace and tolerance. Family is the most peaceful haven. Amidst the vast sands and isolation from the outside world, family is the ultimate source of life and spiritual support. The understanding and silent, wordless sharing of burdens among the members beneath the Gopa roof are the most priceless, sacred assets that no modern technological convenience can buy or replace. The ultimate message: true happiness is absolutely not a distant, glamorous destination somewhere in the future. It lies within the way we enjoy the journey we are on, the way we pour our full love and dedication into our simple daily work, and the way we open our hearts to care for and love those around us. Live like the nomads of Cholistan. Live truly, work truly, and love with all your heart, so that each passing day on this earth is a complete, peaceful, and deeply meaningful ballad. The ballad of the Cholistan desert has now shifted to its quietest verses. As darkness completely blankets the earth and night dew begins to settle upon the smooth sand dunes. Within the Gopa hut, the fire from the hearth, which danced so playfully earlier in the evening, has now faded into deep red embers, occasionally crackling softly and releasing a gentle, caressing warmth. The rich, savory aroma of the fresh macan butter, blending with the lingering scent of wood-fired roti bread, begins to dilute, giving way to the crisp, clean scent of the primal desert night. The surrounding space is now so quiet that you can feel the smallest shifts of nature. The nighttime wind whispering through the kikar trees outside the door is no longer a separate sound. It has merged into one with the steady, slow breathing of Bashir's family as they drift into deep sleep. And wonderfully, that very sound is beginning to align with the rhythm of your own heart, with your own breath. You feel yourself no longer an outsider listening to a story. Your mind is slowly melting, dissolving into the space of this traditional nomadic home. Let your consciousness begin to loosen completely. Every boundary between reality and the world within the story no longer matters now. Everything is interweaving in an incredibly smooth, gentle manner. The brilliant gold of the sand dunes under the twilight earlier, the warm glow of the hearth fire, or the deep velvet blue of the starlit sky. All of it is blurring, softening, turning into a ribbon of gentle floating colors that wrap around your mind. You do not need to try to remember any details. You do not need to think about the meaning of the words. Just let this flow of language wash over you, caressing and soothing your soul. A sensation of absolute relaxation and weightlessness is spreading through your entire body, like a fine grain of sand that has found its peaceful hiding spot after a long, windy day. You are lying here, completely safe and protected under this nurturing nomadic roof. The world outside, with its worries, haste, and noisy clamor, has entirely receded, vanishing into the void. At this moment, only a sacred stillness remains, along with the gentle warmth of family and the vastness of the universe cradling you. Your awareness is fading, growing as light as a feather drifting freely in the air. You are standing at the threshold between wakefulness and deep sleep, a place where the last fragmented thoughts automatically dissolve like soap bubbles. Surrender to this peace. Allow yourself to sink down, deeper and deeper. The night has grown deep, the desert has fallen asleep, and your mind is ready to close, welcoming the most peaceful dreams. Now, the space belongs entirely to darkness and primal stillness. The vast Cholistan desert has closed its eyes, cradling the small Gopa hut into the warm heart of its sands. Within Zain's drowsy dreams, the image of rolling sand dunes under the morning light appears beautifully and softly. The swaying silhouette of the girl beside the clay pot, the steady rhythm of the mathani, everything repeats like a meditative melody, guiding his mind into an infinite realm of peace. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. That sound is now just a very faint, vague echo rising from the subconscious, like the sound of waves lapping against a very distant, peaceful shore. Your mind has also completely surrendered to the cradling of sleep. You do not hear each word, each letter clearly. Instead, you only feel a warm, comforting energy enveloping your entire body. Every burden, every thought has finally vanished completely. You are drifting freely, floating amidst a starlit night sky where there is no gravity, no time, only absolute peace. Let yourself sink even deeper, deeper and deeper, softer and softer. Each of your breaths now is a footstep, leading you deep into a sound, deep and complete sleep that restores energy to your body. You are completely safe. You are completely protected beneath this roof, amidst the embrace of the desert Mother Earth. Let go of everything and just sleep. Sleep deeply. Sleep well. Sleep in perfect peace. When the sun of the new day rises, when you awaken with a body full of fresh energy and a refreshed spirit, do not forget to return to this video. Take a few seconds to leave a comment sharing your thoughts, or simply drop a warm heart to interact with the channel. Your return tomorrow morning is my greatest happiness. But for now, your task is done. Let the night do the rest of the work. Wish you a beautiful dream, carrying the sweet flavor of fresh butter and the freedom of the desert wind. Sleep well, sleep deeply, sleep in absolute tranquility.